Old Bank Bistro.
Is Mr. Kucherpalis there, please?
Is this Joe?
Yes, it is.
Joseph. Yeah, it's Peter, yeah. How you doing?
How good. How are you doing?
Not bad.
Good. Sorry, did I pronounce your name right?
Yeah, it's okay. Everyone says it however they feel. It's fine. I've been used to it since I was a kid.
Kucherlakis.
That's it.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, how's lunch at the bistro today?
We don't open on Saturday for lunch.
Oh,
We're
you
only
don't?
open for dinner.
Oh,
No,
okay.
We used to. When we first opened, we were open 7 days a week.
Oh,
Lunch
okay.
and dinner, but it just got to be too much.
What made you scale back on the Saturday? Just not enough traffic?
Oh, no, there's lots of traffic. It's just, we just can't do it. We got other interests too, so we thought, we'll just open 4 o'clock on Saturday.
Oh, okay.
And we're here at noon. But
Right.
we just get
Well,
stuff
yeah.
prepped. I'm in and out. But,
Prep takes forever.
well, yeah, it's the same menu every day. It's not like we do anything different. But
Okay.
it's just, at this point, we're just kind of taking a break as much as we can, even though it keeps getting busier in town, so...
Oh, that's good.
It's a balance that we need to actually do what we can. And Sundays was one of our busiest days, just so you know. But again, we close. My dad's old.
Right.
He's 87 now.
Yeah.
And he doesn't leave here. And it's not like, Benito is such a clown. I actually hired that twit.
Did you
for
really?
A couple of days. Yeah.
I'm
because-
shocked.
Yeah, well, I saw this guy struggling, okay? His wife was working at the Royal Bank just up the street on Jarvis Street.
Okay.
Really nice lady, minding her own business.
So
and here's
he's-
Benito blogging at home,
Right.
I got to know the clown, and I said, Greg, why don't you get a job? Why are you sitting here in your fucking pajamas or whatever? Get off the couch, go get a fucking job. Like, what
For
is
real?
your problem?
Yeah.
You look physically able to work. He says, well, I've had a lot of jobs here now. I said, well, stick with one.
Right.
Do something.
Yeah.
Your wife's working all day. Well, he says, well, I got to pick up my kid from OLV at 3 o'clock. I said, you know what? That's what everybody's life. Okay? Everyone has to pick up their kid at 3 o'clock. What's
Yeah.
your fucking excuse?
Yeah.
Well, I take care of it. I said, you know what? Everybody takes care of their kids. They have a sitter. They have parents. They have this and that. I mean, your parents live on concession down the road. They can pick up your kid. Well, what's your excuse now? I said, you know what? I need help. I need help in the kitchen. Are you willing to work? Because apparently he said he ran a kitchen a few years ago. I don't know if you remember Ray Murray. He had a bar called Scooters on Highway
Scooters.
Street.
Yes, I do remember that.
Scooters. After that, it changed a couple times, and then I think Ray sold the building to. Do you remember Grisafi?
Don't know that name, no. I'm slightly familiar with Fort Erie. I'm not hugely knowledgeable on it.
Oh, okay. Anyway, it sold a couple times, and he leased it out to another Italian guy, and he just wanted to run a club. And Benito approached him, and he says, well, you still got a kitchen here. If I run the kitchen, you can do what you do, and I'll pay you, whatever.
Yeah.
And it seemed like, it was logical for the guy to, open the kitchen. Benito fucking folded up after a couple weeks, and he left without even telling. And I knew the guy. And I go, what happened to the kitchen? He goes, well, this Greg guy, he just walked out on me. It's like, I said,
Wow.
why did he walk? Did he even explain to you that he wasn't happy or what this and that? He says, no, he just pulled up his car. His dad came, and they took the food, and they're out the door, and they don't tell me nothing.
Well, that's not
I said, well,
kosher.
No, it's not. And again, this guy doesn't commit to anything. Maybe he's got an idea and he just thinks that he's going to be super famous. I don't know what goes on in his head, but you got to work. No matter what you do,
You got to pay the bills.
Yeah, but you got to give it 100%. And then after a while, you see it's not for you. Then either you sell it or you talk to the someone that's involved in your agreement and say, look, it's not working out. It's not what I thought.
Yeah.
It's not for me. And then they move on amicably. This guy doesn't know how to do that.
Yeah. Well, I checked out his after I read quite a few of the posts. I check out everybody's profile.
Yeah, you should.
As much as you can.
I only put myself out there so other people can do what you do.
Yeah.
If I'm an asshole, okay, that's fine. I'm being an asshole for a reason, and I'll explain to you what the reason is.
But everybody's different. I could think you're an asshole, but I don't know
I'm
you.
sick and tired of the narrative in this town that oh, there's no opportunities, there's no this, there's no that. No, you make your own opportunities, especially in this day and age. Everywhere in Niagara, I never hear anyone saying, oh, there's not enough business, there's not enough this. This is the new investment area, okay?
Well,
as you know, you're in Toronto.
Yeah.
Right? Development land has virtually run out, so they're going up.
Got to go north. There's nothing else but going north.
No, but then they're running out of space even for condos. Okay, so now investors are looking outside of the GTA. Where are they going to go? Okay, some go up north, but a lot of them are coming this way because the QE, the 400 is a disaster. You know that.
Oh, God.
I mean, and then through the snow and all the blizzards and whatever, aside of the summertime, it's a parking lot, you know, for people going up to the cottage.
Yeah.
In the wintertime, it's a disaster.
Or it's constant construction.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of investors are looking south. Well, Stony Creek is booming. Grimsby is booming. Beamsville, like these rural towns now.
I've noticed.
Smithville.
Yeah, I've noticed a lot of construction as I'm driving.
Yeah, they're all Toronto. They're all GTA investors.
Yeah.
But the problem with that area is there's green belts, right? So you can only develop in certain areas. So they're running out of development land there too.
Right.
Because it's the growing region of Ontario.
Yeah,
like
true.
There's apples, there's, tender fruit, but there's also grapes and whatever, right?
A lot of vineyards, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So then as you move even further south, there's Niagara Falls. Well, Niagara Falls has a green belt on the north end, but it has no green belt on the south end, meaning Lions Creek area. Do you know where I am now? Past Niagara Square?
Niagara Square, I know where that is.
Okay. Well, behind Niagara Square, there's GTA developers putting up not just dozens of homes, thousands of homes.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it's all Toronto money, and they're all Toronto people moving there. Well, the next stop is Fort Erie on the QE. I'm just talking about the corridor, the QE, which is a major corridor for investment. They're finding Fort Erie now.
Yeah, I've noticed that Fort Erie's been neglected in terms of property investment and packaging and manufacturing for a long time.
Well, I'll tell you, it's because of leadership and the lack of leadership. What goes on behind closed doors, we never know. Excuse me. But I kind of get what goes on in closed doors because it gets leaked, and there's one guy that's always in the room that's the loudest and normally the crudest. And whatever investors in that room, they don't say what they're thinking, but they don't seem to invest.
Now, who's that?
It's the guy that's the head of economic development for the town.
I'm not familiar with the names. Is that?
Well, that's fine. But I'll tell you that I got to know him well because he's got a town credit card.
Okay.
And he doesn't care what it costs to have lunch or dinner, and he doesn't come alone. And he stopped coming here because I won't allow him in my restaurant anymore because I told him, look, I don't mind having customers. I don't mind people spending. But at the same time, when I see my tax money going towards nonsense, sure, I'm making a living from you, but at the same time, nothing's getting done. I'd like to see 10, 20 restaurants on Jarvis Street because that's where I am. And in order to build up a destination, you need more than one or two restaurants. You need lots. You need lots of businesses in an area to draw the people.
When there's a selection of restaurants, then you have a greater flow.
Exactly. It's like car dealerships. You see them clustering together. There's auto malls now, what they call them. When you go down the road, a boulevard in Toronto or St. Catharines even, they all seem to gravitate to one area. So what do people do? They shop from car dealership to car dealership. It's just natural.
No, it's
right. It's the franchise concept that started with Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yeah.
And then McDonald's followed. They put a location right next door to Kentucky Fried Chicken. That was back in the 50s. Well, that's still being used today.
Well, you know what? To go even beyond that, if you've been to New York, if you are standing at one corner of the street and you have a Starbucks behind you, you can look in front of you and see a Starbucks in front of you. So that means you're your own competition. So you're getting the pocket dollars no matter what.
Oh yeah. You know, I had a friend. She moved on, but she was She was at a corporate at Tim Hortons.
Okay,
in Oakville. She told me that their concept is that when you go through a drive-through at Tim Hortons with a medium coffee, okay, you buy a medium coffee. By the time you're done that medium coffee, there should be another Tim Hortons franchise somewhere in your visible sight to grab another medium coffee. Not a large, not a small, a medium. So that, we're talking 20 minutes.
Yeah.
That's the concept that works in the GTA.
Yeah.
In Fort Erie, well, if you know the Stroms, they've got 7 of them here, and they're all busy. There's a reason why, because it's just what it is. It's a coffee culture, right?
Yeah.
So what I keep telling people when I meet people like yourself, look, if I'm here and I'm doing well, that means I'm doing something. That means that you can do the same.
Yeah.
But you have to commit the time and the energy of all that.
Yeah. No.
So I already met somebody like yesterday from Toronto that's looking to invest. And I go, well, what are you thinking? Like, what do you see here? He goes, the guy goes, well, I haven't seen so much open waterfront. Like, where I come from, everything's bought, and you know, like, you can't even touch any waterfront in Toronto. He's talking about, like, commercial, you know, like doing some commercial residential.
Okay.
I said, well, where else in Niagara can you see this much potential? Like, Niagara Falls, they're downtown, Queen Street, as much as it's dilapidated, it has potential, but at the same time, do you see what we see here in Fort Erie? I said, this is untapped. And I keep pushing my my district, which they call Bridgeburg, because the town devised a neighborhood plan for this end of town that has 10-story zoning for its waterfront. So if you want to build a building, you're not going to go in a residential neighborhood and try to change the zoning. You want to make your return now. You don't want to wait 10 years or whatever. That's how it takes sometimes.
No, the ROI, if it's more than if the ROI is more than 5, there's a problem.
Yeah. Well, you know, a lot of projects, and how I got on the inside is because the Molinarios are trying to build in Crystal Beach on the waterfront. We're having snags left and right. So I kept asking people at Town Hall. I said, what are you doing to open the door for these people to put up a 10-story apartment building? Well, we're doing everything we can. I said, do you have the zoning? Well, we have to change the zoning. So you have to go in front of council. Sure. Well, council was divided. I said, how are you going to get everyone to agree to change the zoning of this specific piece of property?
Right.
That was commercial, but there's a 3-story limit there. Now you want to go 10 because the developer wants to go 10. Mm-hmm. I don't mind the 10. I wouldn't mind 20. But at the same time, how are you going to get from 3 to 10 without putting it across council? And then council has to have, you know, public meetings, and, you know, everyone has to chime in, and all of a sudden the tree huggers get into it, and all of a sudden there's a toad, and then there's this, and there's the birds. The birds are going to run into this building, and they're going to die. And you know what I mean? It took fucking 6 years to actually get this town to basically get into a lawsuit now with the Molinaro Group from Burlington.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean?
Is that
because not only did they frustrate... What's that?
Is that the frog thing that I read online?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Fowler's toad all of a sudden showed up in Crystal Beach. They're native to South Carolina, but somehow a couple of endangered toads got into the sand here in Crystal Beach, and the developer had to create a habitat for these toads.
So they're not even native to the area. They're an infectious species.
That's why they're endangered, because they're not even supposed to be here. But again, when you go through the Ontario Municipal Board hearing, they had to do a study on the toads, the developer, of course, and then the environmentalists on the other side, they had their own, you know, their own people doing reports and this and that. So it was a battle. And I said to them, to the Molinaro Group, I said, why don't you come to the other end of town where there's already 10-story zoning already in place?
Right.
And they said, what do you mean? I said, well, I have a restaurant down on Jarvis Street that you haven't been to yet. It's not near Town Hall. It's at the end of the QE. And they go, well, we haven't been that far yet. So I took them around, you know, and I said, look, all these properties here, there's homes, there's, you know, some buildings, this and that.
Yeah.
They all have 10-story zoning allotment on their property. And it's part of the official plan of the town of Fort Erie.
Right.
And they said, well, if we would have known, we probably would have come here. I said, exactly, because no one's going to dispute something that's already part of the official plan. It already got past all the hoops and hurdles, and now it's development ready. So I said, that's the problem that I have with people that are trying to push this through. People like Stephen Pissarro, who wants to be the mayor of Fort Erie, is he doesn't care about the residents' feelings.
So
he just wants everything. Huh?
Who's the current mayor right now?
His name is Wayne Redekop. He used to be the mayor years ago.
Okay.
And then, for whatever reason, he didn't want to run. And then Doug Martin ran, and he was the mayor for 2 terms, so 8 years. Okay. And that's where the trouble started. Is during his time, there was some things going on at Town Hall where they decided to start putting planned development in areas that are not part of the official plan.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like Doug. He's a nice guy. Like, he was a businessman, and we're always like on the same page. But I kept saying, why are you guys trying to force development on this specific property when we already have that kind of zoning requirement somewhere else? It's shovel ready, basically.
Okay.
And I was just wanting to see apartment complexes built in Fort Erie, because the only one that we have here is called Albany Place, and it was built in the early 70s, if you can believe that.
Wow. Where is that?
When I talked to realtors, what's that?
Where is that?
Do you know where the County Fair Mall used to be on Highway 3?
The only mall I'm familiar with is the...
Okay, do you know where the McDonald's is on Highway 3?
Yes.
Okay, when you head east towards the Peace Bridge...
Okay.
It's on the right-hand side.
That's the mall. Yeah, it had a Zellers. It had, I know that mall. Yep. There's
that's empty now.
There's a cemetery in front of there.
Yes, that's the one.
Yep.
Well, that mall now is being torn down as we speak.
Oh, that's too bad.
And the region is tearing it down.
Yeah.
And putting a retirement home there. And the rest of the property, there's 11 acres.
That's a big property.
Yeah. The rest of the property is slated for high-rise development. And that's what I was telling them all along. It's like, why don't you steer the mall and arrows to that property, because there's already an apartment building right next to it.
Oh my God, a condo complex there would have gone gangbusters.
Yeah, you've got Riverview there.
Yeah.
And it would have happened instantly. We would have been probably working on the 5th or 6th building there.
Yeah.
Like we as a community, not me.
And then
I'm just saying, once one comes, the next one comes, and the next one. And the next
well, it's
There's
just
zero inventory, Joseph.
Yeah,
zero inventory in this town for apartments. Zero.
Well,
so when you talk to a realtor and you go, hey, I'd love a house, but I'm downsizing. I don't want a yard. I want a condo. And they'll say, well, we don't have any here. And then next thing you know, they're heading out of town.
Well, it's just like the Yonge Street corridor, where you can't spit without hitting a condo complex. And there's a new one going up every week.
Yeah. Well, that's because they have no choice. They have to go up. You know what I mean? Like, once you're in a dense area where there's no land you can purchase left or right of you, you go up. It's just natural.
Yeah.
Well, in the town of Fort Erie, that sure has a lot of development land, it would be nice to have a diverse inventory of real estate. You have your single-family homes, you have your duplexes, your semis, but there's no apartment buildings anywhere that are for rent even, or for sale, like units for sale. So that's the hardship that we have here. We don't have the inventory. And now we have developers willing to come here from the GTA, but you have to show them the properties that already have the zoning requirement.
Right.
Unless you want to fight these people. Because, seriously, when you come to a small town, most of the people that live in this town are tree huggers, right? Because that's why they are in a small town. They don't want to see the city kind of atmosphere. I get that. I understand their mindset.
Yeah.
I get that. I don't agree with it, but I get it. But at the same time, are those the kind of people you want running the town hall telling you can't go more than 3 stories? They're gonna line up in droves, man. They're gonna. No matter what you say to them, they already have it in their mind that they're gonna frustrate the development.
Right.
And there's already one again. There's one at Waverly Beach on the waterfront. There's a 10-story building in the planning stages, and they're fighting it tooth and nail.
Okay. So you know what?
So now they have this. What's that?
No, go ahead. Finish your thought, and then I'll go.
Well, they have this Nick Dubino running in that ward. It's a ward of the town.
Okay.
Well, he's ignorant. He's Craig Benito's buddy. He's ignorant. So when he wins, which he probably will, because he's saying all the right things door to door, right?
Okay.
Oh, I'm a family man. I'm going to try to do this for the community. But in the back of his mind, he's going to do whatever it takes to get development. He's going to force development down people's throats. Well, a subdivision's one thing. People are accepting that.
Yeah.
But they're not accepting high-rise development as easily as you would think.
So is he for or against that kind of stuff?
He's for any kind of development, but at the same time, he doesn't know how to actually get it done because he's rude. You know what I mean? Like me, I said, okay, you don't want it there? Well, why don't we put it over here where it's already acceptable?
Right.
When there's no one going to say no. Like if I tell someone there's a 5-story building going on Jarvis Street, they're going to say, when? Please. They're not going to say, are you kidding me? They're going to say, when is it happening?
Right.
That's the reaction that I get. Because I meet so many people every day in the business I'm in. It's just, it's a restaurant.
Yeah.
And I ask people, I just want to know what they're thinking, because those are the people that run the town hall.
Yeah.
And again, this town is ripe for development, and I just don't want to have people miss out. You know what I mean? Like people like yourselves. It doesn't matter what business you're in or what investment you're looking for. I just steer you in the right direction. Like I said, you call town hall, you set up a meeting if you have to, you sit down with the planning department.
Yeah.
They'll show you all the things I'm telling you because they have no skin in the game. It's their job.
Yeah, of course. No, there shouldn't be any skin in the game.
There should be open and closed. That you come with your realtor maybe so that you can start scoping out, property that are for sale. It's easy, right?
Yep.
It's on MLS. But there's other properties that have the zoning requirement. You have to meet with these people. So you have to investigate a little more. And you need to do that the proper channels. You can't just knock on somebody's door. Some people do. But you got to find out who the owner is, find out what the market value is. Because coming from Toronto, you might overbuy.
Well, even if it's a private sale, like I don't mind not going through MLS.
No, I get it.
Especially when
but
you
don't
can deal.
Want to overpay.
Exactly.
You
and you
need
can
to
offer
know the market value. Say somebody's asking $1 million for something that's really market value $300,000. You know what I mean? Why do you need to spend the extra $7 million? You can put that into your investment.
No, exactly.
That's what I'm saying is when a professional gets involved, or somebody like yourself that has the know-how to find out what market value is, then you don't overbuy. And then you can buy a second one even for what you thought it would cost for one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the dollar value, if a listing is, like I've been looking at property, and I actually have 1 or 2 plots of land in Fort Erie. Yeah. And my what I've done is I've gone to the owner directly and I've said, okay, you have it listed for, let's say, $500,000, and you got 2.5 acres. I'm going to give you $300,000, but I'm going to give it to you in cash.
Yeah.
And it's surprising how quick they've jumped at it, because that dollar value of cash is actually worth $1.25 to them.
Yep, and like I always tell people, I might never meet you, but I'm just telling you is when I do meet people or when I talk to them on the phone, I don't get involved in the negotiations.
Yeah.
I don't. It's not my business.
I've actually been in your restaurant and I've met you.
Well, good. I'm glad. I'm just saying is I never steer people in the wrong direction. I just steer them where they need to go to start their own, research.
Right.
Because when they do buy, it has to be their decision, not mine, because I don't get anything out of this.
Yeah.
I just see a town that's got so much opportunity, and I want people to actually take full advantage of it.
Yeah.
But go through the proper channels. Don't go through some idiot at some economic development guy. The guy is so full of shit. I'm sick and tired of seeing him walking around acting like he's done so much, and then when something happens, he puts his name on it. Oh, I did that.
Which guy is that, Nick?
Didn't. He's just trying to defend his job.
Who, Nick?
He had nothing to do with that, buddy.
Nick?
Sorry?
Is that who you're talking about, Nick?
No. This Jim guy.
Oh, okay.
And I said, you had nothing to do with it. That happened because people have other people that get involved, like this factory that sold in Stevensville, which is it's part of Fort Erie. They call it Stevensville. It's just whatever. So a company came from Texas to buy this. How did they find it? Well, again, they have the proper channels. They don't come to some office in Fort Erie. They don't even know it exists. They don't need that office.
Yeah.
They were looking for industrial space. They started seeing what's on the internet for sale, and they bought it. Then I meet them, and they tell me, okay, we bought this thing, and it's like, great, okay, after the purchase, then I can talk about it. I didn't even know it was happening, but when you talk to people after the fact, this is what's going on. So then they didn't go through with what they were planning on. They changed their mind, and they have it leased out to some other company that's actually operating some type of industry there. Mm-hmm. Again, it went through other channels. And then this guy says, well, no, I did that. How did you do that? Yeah. Tell me. Explain to me how you went about getting a company from Texas. Did they actually call you? You don't even know. And I've been bugging Benito. I go, what's the company that owns it? And he can't tell me.
No.
But I know what it is.
Yeah.
But he can't tell me. I said, who's the guy that, I had a picture taken with the guy. I go, do you even know the guy's name? Do you know why he was even here in Fort Erie? Do you know the company name that owns it? I said, I'll give you a hint. It's a Texas-based company. He can't answer me because he gets his information from Jim. Jim doesn't even know why because it's not his business.
Right.
It is. That's how things happen in town. Not only in this town, everywhere.
Yeah. Well,
between you and that purchaser, when you bought your 2.5 acres, did you have to go to some agency for them to explain to you, well, this is what you have to do? No. You did it on your own.
Yeah.
Thousands of investors do that every day.
Hey, I steered away from that. I don't want to talk to anybody but the owner because it's no business but me and the owner.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You cut all the red tape and the middlemen out of your way. You get right to the source.
Right.
And you agree on a price. He's happy. You're happy. Everyone walks away.
End of story.
And that's why I try to explain to Benito. He doesn't get it. He's so brainwashed that this guy is some kind of god in town, this Jim guy. And all he does is he just defends his job. Well, that's great. Everyone has a job to do, but don't tell me that you've actually approached this person and got this person together. No, because you haven't, because I already knew that you didn't, because they don't even know who you are. Because I always bring it up. I go, when I meet people and they've already purchased something in town, they're developing something, I go, did you ever meet this Jim guy? They go, who's that? Well, there's economic development in town. They go, the only economic development we know is us.
Yeah.
We economically develop.
Yeah.
You just make a thing of it.
Yeah.
It's like, that's how business is conducted everywhere. But in a small town, I guess you could convince a few people like Benito, who's so naive that he has to use fake names all the time.
Does he live there? He doesn't live there, does he?
He doesn't even live in town. No, his wife divorced him because he was lazy. And he was living with his parents for a while, but now he lives in Niagara Falls. He's in his 40s. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, this guy has not grown up yet. Like, I feel bad for him, but at the same time, when he's telling me that I don't own anything, and do a fucking property search, you dummy.
Yeah, it's not that hard to do a search.
Some things I own with my, with my personal name, and some things I have with a company. I'm not going to tell you my company names to this idiot.
No, of course not.
At the same time, do a search.
Yeah.
I did a search on Steven's house that he owns. It's easy. You just call a realtor, and then they call someone, and they get it done.
Yeah.
And I have all the documents. I know what he paid for it. I know his mortgage. I know the bank that he used. I know the lawyer that he used. I know everything about him.
Well, all you need is an MLS account, and you can find all that out just by a couple of clicks.
Well, I don't need to know anybody's financial condition. I just know when somebody buys something.
That's even easier. That's even easier. Just do a credit search.
Yeah, I don't do. I'm just saying, Service Canada has all the documentation on any transfer, any property anywhere in Ontario. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
And this guy is so fucking bent that I don't know anything. It's like, I'm 50 years old. Like, I learned this shit when I was in my 20s.
Yeah. Well, you know what? He seems to be...
And I haven't changed the way I think because that's how I've been able to buy things.
Yeah.
It seems to be working for me, you, everyone else but Benito.
Yeah. Well, he seems to be a small fish. I'm looking at finding out more about the bigger fish. Do you want me to tell you a little bit about me?
Sure.
Okay, so I own a company called Jonah Consulting, and what I do is I look for investment properties for all my clients. Now, I do have a hand in a couple of, you mentioned the auto parks. I have done a bit of research for a couple of properties for a couple of big companies. Well, one large company that I've given most of my attention to in just north of the GTA. It's a city called Vaughan, City of Vaughan.
Yeah.
So there's
I know
two.
Vaughan well,
Yeah, there's two big auto parks. One is in Woodbridge and one is in Maple. Those are the two main ones that I've had my hand in. And I have a couple other clients. One is he's a meat manufacturer, and what he does is he takes a raw product and he makes a semi-cured meat product. So, say if you walk into any grocery store and you buy prosciutto already cured, or you buy a capicola already cured.
Right.
What this company does is they actually start the curing process, but they suspend it just before the meat starts to cure. So if you take a pork shoulder and you cut it into a capicola, and you put in the curing salt and you do all that stuff. What they do is they package it, they vacuum pack it, and then they cool it so the curing process pauses.
Right.
So what the client would do is they'd walk into a grocery store, they'd buy this product, and once they get it home and they take it out of the package, they would hang it in their cold cellar or cantina or whatever they have.
They finish it, yeah.
And they would finish it. So they invest the 3 to 6 months that it would take, and a prosciutto, anywhere from 6 months to a year to cure it.
Right.
So what this company does is they want to go on a larger scale, and they've gone federal, which means they can now export out of Canada. They were provincial, so they were in the different provinces.
Inspection certificates now they can export.
Yeah. So now they can export. So they have a provincial plant, and they're looking for property to go federal. Now this federal plant, once it's constructed, can export to the U.S.
Right.
Now, just by happenstance, they came to me because I know the owner's brother, and I told him that I'll look for some property for him in whatever communities that I would think would be best. Now, because I have a history of Fort Erie, I know the place well. I have a couple of relatives that still live there. A lot of my summers, majority of my summers between the ages of 2 and 12 were in Fort Erie. My grandmother lived there. I had aunts and uncles that lived there, so I know the area well.
Sure.
And I know the properties there that, to this day are still untouched.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. Is this guy that's in charge of, getting shovel-ready industrial land in Fort Erie has not done his job, and he keeps saying, well, the province has made this parcel and that parcel wetlands, significant land. And I said, you know what? Fort Erie's not underwater, buddy.
Yeah.
We're not fucking Louisiana.
No.
There's lots of dry land here. There's lots of vacant land here.
Yeah.
That's your job with the town planners to map out a new industrial park.
Right.
If this one you claim is full, there's no excuse. And I said, Carl Palladino owns lots of parcels of land now that you helped him buy. Okay. That's called the Fort Erie Racetrack. And there's parcels there that have, behind Fleet, he has a big parcel. And the problem with it is, he, meaning this idiot, has overvalued that property for the owner, and no one's buying it. Well, when you go with market value, there's lots of acreage there, but you're not going to sell it because people are not stupid.
Right.
So then he went to town hall and went behind closed doors and tried to convince council to buy it at 3 times its value. And I said, look, the owner of the property is somebody that he's familiar with me. He's not my friend, but through the channels I've met him and what. And I said to him, look, everyone wants to make a buck, but this guy's not going to make you any money.
Yeah.
Okay? Because what you paid for all this parcels and now you're parceling them out, I get that. Okay. But he's not going to be able to get you what he's promising you.
Right. Well, see, my job is twofold too with my clients. What I also...
I'll tell you, unfortunately, where shovel-ready industrial land is right now, and it's in Welland. They have a new industrial park. There's a food processing plant there that's already expanded. They're from BC. The GE plant is right across the street. It's on the 140. They have shovel-ready industrial land in Welland.
Well, what about
if anyone?
What about the property? What about you? It's funny that you mentioned the Fleet property. I had an uncle that worked at Fleet.
That's still going.
There's
a new guy from Toronto that owns Fleet.
Okay.
Now, and he's doing well. It's not doing as well as when your relatives worked there, because that place was booming back in the 80s.
We're talking
90s.
50 years. I'm talking 50 years ago.
Yeah, well, that was the place to work in town. There was 3,000 people that worked there at one time. I just added, during the war and after the war.
Yeah. Now, how many are there now? Do you know how many are employed there now?
Probably like 300, maybe 300.
But they
behind it is that industrial land that they're trying to sell.
I was just going to say, what about all that land?
Because it's overvalued.
Well, what about,
what's that?
Okay, regardless of the value that they're placing on it. No, but what about the land behind it?
Not for sale. That's the one.
They're keeping that?
I'm telling you about. They can't sell it because it's overvalued. It's not market value. That's what I'm saying. Is the guy doesn't know Fort Erie. He bought all this land that came with the Fort Erie racetrack, and that's a piece that he doesn't need. He's trying to sell.
Okay.
But it's twice the value of it should be per acre.
What about the property? What about the property that's beside? I know there's a huge plot of land beside the Fort Erie racetrack. Is that part of their property?
Yeah, it's all yeah. And they want more than what it's valued at. Like you can't act like Mississauga when you're not in Mississauga.
Do they have it listed? They don't have it. They do have it listed?
Yeah. Check it out. I posted all those links. Yeah, check it out.
Okay.
Go to MLS.ca and go to commercial.
Okay.
And you'll see the map, and you'll see where the racetrack is.
Yep.
You'll see the practice track that's all overgrown, and that's the industrial component.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, that's prime industrial land, but at the same time, the price the asking price, he might take it off the market. He said that he's taking everything off the market, so I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what he's planning on now.
Well,
but at the same time, he doesn't need that property.
Well, those are backroom negotiations that can either go good or go bad.
He posted that in an article lately. Okay. Like I'm saying, he doesn't want to sell anything. Well, at the same time, it's still on the listing, right? It's still an active listing.
Okay.
And you know how people always say, well, everything's for sale at the right price.
Yeah.
But you're not going to overpay.
Okay. So,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. So another aspect that I usually look at is the labor market.
Right.
Because my client is looking like their current production, because it's provincial, it only employs about 30 to 40 people. If he goes federal and gets the right licenses and is able to export to the U.S. without much red tape, we're looking at about 200 to 300 employees just for manufacturing alone.
There's a big pool here of that type of employment, sitting, waiting.
Okay.
There's a pharmaceutical company here on Jarvis Street at the top end that is being converted now. It should be operational probably before Christmas. It's a marijuana processing plant, and they're going to be probably employing about 300 to 400 people.
I'm kicking myself not getting into that soon enough.
What's that?
I'm kicking myself not getting into that soon enough.
No, I know. That's an industry in itself. I mean, I was talking to someone last week from Toronto that is involved in these projects, and there's one in Stevensville that's almost ready too, like a greenhouse, and that's where it's at right now.
Yeah. No, they're popping up like crazy north of the GTA.
There's huge margins in it too.
Yeah.
I mean, if you buy stock in a company, it's just gonna go nuts. You know?
Never
and
mind.
No matter when you buy in, you're gonna make money.
Never mind the stock, just the property alone. If you're selling it to a grow-up, you can go 2 to 3 times the market value, and they'll still pick it up at a deal.
Well, yeah, because it's got rural designation, so you're not buying commercial property or industrial. As you know, industrial property is taxed at the highest.
Yeah.
You know, it's rural, residential, commercial, and industrial. And if you can build a greenhouse on the farmland, you're laughing.
What I found is that if you can have it designated as farmland, you're getting tax breaks, and you're not paying tax. You're getting tax breaks.
Yeah, and that's what they're doing. Up in Beamsville, there's one in Port Colborne. There's one now in Stevensville. Yeah, they're popping up Niagara Lake.
Yeah.
The biggest one's in Niagara Lake.
Okay, so the property pool is good.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, sorry.
You know what? There's tons of land. You just need some people to get the hell out of the way.
Yeah. And the labor pool is good.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. It's always been good.
Okay. So now what a lot of my clients, what I tell them after the fact is that I'm like, I hate to use the term, but like the Magnum PI of trying to find locations for them to survive, to thrive, and to make money. Because if they make money, I make money, because I have deals on the back end that if they're profitable, then I'm profitable.
Yeah. Exactly.
So now what I do is it's crazy, but social media, Facebook is the best research tool that I've ever found.
Absolutely, it is.
So I look at all the characters involved, and a lot of and I'm.
Well, I'll tell you, my agenda has always been get the right people in place.
Yeah.
And you get the wrong people out of the way.
Yeah.
So they're running interference with me right now, thinking that I'm nothing, I don't know anything. But I know for a fact, if you get the right people in, they leave the private sector to thrive.
Right.
So I think the other ones are just looking for handouts, and nothing gets done.
Well,
I don't mind greasing somebody, but get the fucking job done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No.
Like, I mean, we're Greek Italian. We don't mind paying a little here or there.
We
get
speak
the fucking job done.
We speak the same language. I know.
Get started.
Yeah.
You just look at it and it's like, okay. So I just thought we expedited this. It hasn't even begun.
Well, I'm looking at the cast of characters that I see online, and I don't look at the small guys. Like, okay, Greg.
No, I get you.
Greg, I understand. Okay, he's a little guy. He's just part of
for the people that are hiding behind.
Well,
him.
he's just part of the population. Like I'm looking at the people that actually have a voice.
He's got no vested interest of any sort.
No,
he doesn't own anything. He doesn't plan on buying anything.
So I don't look at those guys, but I look at like the people that are like. You have there's an election coming up, so you have a cast of characters that's going for office that could possibly affect. Because I like to look. I don't want to look at 6 months down the road. I want to look at 2 years down the road.
5-year projections.
Exactly.
Always. But unfortunately, there's a 4-year election cycle.
Yeah.
So we have to scale back to every 4 years. Okay, what kind of mindset is around that local municipal government? Like,
So I like
to really open for business, or do they pretend to be open? For business?
And I like to look at 2 years down the road. So this. What I'm looking at now, a 2-year, my long term for 2 years is pretty good.
Yeah.
So I have.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm pretty confident that no matter who gets elected, things get done that are already planned, meaning that the zoning is in place, the properties are always available at the right price.
To differ with you there's when like I take down notes and I try to remember. My memory is not that great, but the names that pop up, like this guy, I don't know. I remember I don't remember the first name, but I remember the last name, Pissarro.
Yeah.
Now, who's this guy?
He's a puppet.
Puppet for who?
He doesn't have. He claimed he had a business. He doesn't.
Don't tell me this is the bakery guy.
What's that?
Don't tell me this is the bakery guy.
Yes.
Is it? Oh, okay.
I swear to God. Joseph, listen to this. Okay. I was living in the Falls. My neighbor, one of the oldest Italians in the area, very, very big investor, had most of the hotels in Niagara Falls.
Right.
He passed away. But anyway, super nice guy. We would talk on Sunday, Sunday morning. He'd make an espresso as he's sitting in his backyard, just enjoying. He's retired. He goes, "Hey, who's this Pissarro guy in Fort Erie?" I go, "Why? What happened, Mario?" He goes, "Well, a couple of my kids were at the Chamber of Commerce convention in Thorold, and at this big banquet facility. John Michaels, another Italian, Credico was his name. He passed away as well, young guy, died of a heart attack. But anyway, he had this big, really nice banquet hall. So all the chambers got together and had this kind of dinner, right?
Yeah.
All meet and greet kind of thing. So it was Fort Erie's turn to have their chamber president stand in front of everyone and say something, right? And unfortunately, they elected this clown to be this president of the local Fort Erie Chamber of Commerce, who doesn't even have a business, but claimed he did. And I called him on it after Mario told me what went on.
Right.
So I go, what happened, Mario? Everyone had so much respect for this guy, you know, and it's like, why are you upset? What happened? Who is? He goes, who is this guy? I go, he's a nothing. Why? What happened? He goes, well, he stood in front of all these people at this chamber meeting, and he said, isn't it a coincidence that we're here meeting together, and just down the road here is the prison, Thorold Jail. And I go, are you kidding me? He said that. He goes, yeah. I go, I'm really sorry that he said that, Mario. He says, well, I'm not sorry. He says, I want to know who this guy is.
Okay.
Who is this guy? I said, well, I'll find out, but I don't even know how this guy became the president. He doesn't own a business. He goes, what do you mean he doesn't own a business? How does he become the chamber president without owning a business? I said, I don't know, but I'll look into it. A couple days later, I come back to Mario. Again, my neighbor at home.
Right.
Mario, the guy doesn't even have a business. He claims he has a bakery. In the directory, it's some bogus address. There's nothing at that address on Highway 3, Garrison Road. I don't know where he has his bakery, but it's not that. Okay. He doesn't have one. I called him. I ordered a cake. And I go, where's your processing facility? I want to inspect it.
Yeah.
I said, you know, I don't buy cakes from just about anybody. I need to know if you've actually got a proper inspection, you know, from a health board, whatever. I said, where's your bakery, man? He goes, well, it's in the basement of my house. So I reamed him out. I go, I fucking bought a fucking cake from a fucking basement of a house? I can get my aunt to do that. You claim you own a business, and I hear that you're the president of the Chamber of Commerce? I go, how the fuck did you become the chamber fucking president? I've known past presidents. They're lawyers. They're business people. I can walk into their business and say hello, and you fucking idiot, you have a fucking home business? Like, right. You know, we're not mom and pop in Fort Erie anymore. Yeah. What kind of fucking clown are you? Mario told me to fucking give this guy the gears, right? So he starts shaking. I go, what the fuck is on your plan now? So you have a fucking home business. What's next on your fucking agenda? Are you going to start franchising home businesses? Like, what's your business plan?
Basement franchises.
Yeah. So he goes, well, I'm planning on running for council. I said, oh, so that's how you do it. So you fucking lie to people, and then you got to lie to people door to door, and you're going to be a fucking ward counselor. So what happens? He becomes my ward counselor for Bridgeport.
And how old is this guy?
Now he's running for mayor.
You
know what I mean?
How old is this guy?
He's not even fucking Italian, Joseph. He's not. His dad is like third generation Italian. That's fine.
Yeah.
His mother's German. Like, to see him, he's white as a ghost.
I've seen. I read the article on him.
Respect. I'm just saying, he would have some respect if he was Italian. I swear to God.
Yeah.
I was going to fucking punch his lights out. I go, you fucking asshole. You became the president. You fucking lied to people.
Shit.
You became the president of a business association that I belong to. And now you go out of town. You go to a convention in Thorold at my friend's banquet facility, my Credico, and you talk down to people? Who the fuck do you think you are?
Yeah. And
talking to people at the Thorold jails down the street, and here we are. What a coincidence.
So what are the chances of this guy becoming mayor?
It's slim, but I'm just having fun with this fucking guy. It's slim.
Because I don't see a lot of posts. I see posts from his father. What I assume that Stephen is his father.
David Tesoro is his father.
David.
Won't talk to
me. Okay, got it. So David is the father. Stephen's the son. Yeah. Okay, got it.
Yeah, he won't talk to me. He won't come on social media. He won't, because I call him on everything. I had to sit in a fucking business meeting with this fucking idiot.
So is this
I called him out.
Is this a guy that's someone that okay, so on the, you know, if he's elected mayor or not, regardless, you know, there's, you know, the shit that's going on in the U.S., you know, Trump's elected, anybody can be elected sort of thing. So if this guy is elected, what, like, and if I was to present my client with potential, I bring him down there, and we look for
meet the mayor. You meet with the planning department. You wouldn't have a need to actually meet this clown, because you just go to the planning department and you make sure that the zoning is the requirement you're looking for. right?
Okay, so
you're not going to go find a...
The client that I'm dealing with is a very hands-on kind of guy. So, yeah. And he likes, I wouldn't say he likes the spotlight, but he likes to rub elbows with, say, the mayor of the small town. Because, this guy's worth 80 times more than the mayor of a small town.
So of course, and that's normally the case. Yeah. But at the same time, he would just have to keep his mouth shut. I mean, the mayor himself, because he has nothing to do with development. Do you know what I'm saying?
My client also doesn't want to rub noses with someone that, let's say you start up a business and you're successful, and the mayor comes to your place and has lunch, and all of a sudden, some shit comes up online where something the mayor's involved with, and he's this, you're automatically associated with the guy, regardless if it's one picture.
Him or friends here.
Yeah,
I had enough. They used to meet here and meet with them in private, and I would look at them and go, "Holy fuck."
So now let me ask you. Let me ask you, as a business owner, if this guy Passero is elected, and he comes to your place and he has lunch, and he, photo op is presented, would you or would you not take a photo op with this guy, and why?
No, I wouldn't.
Why?
Because he's going to embarrass the town. Not with the photo op. He's already embarrassed the town.
Well, you know what? The photo op. That's all perspective. Because if you're associated with this guy, and there's dirt out there that he fucked his secretary or this or that or whatever it is, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If you're associated with him,
I don't take photo ops with politicians
at all.
No, never. I don't need to, because I don't know what kind of shit they're going to get themselves into. Now, a private investor, I don't need to know what kind of shit they get themselves into, because they're investors.
Yeah, and they're private. That's the put private in quotations.
Private life is none of my business. But when a fucking guy pretends he's this and that, and he wants to run for public office and embarrass the town at the same time, then I got a fucking issue with it.
Okay, so here's another question for you, and this might be a little sensitive.
Yeah, that's fine.
From what I've been reading online, there's all this. Now I don't understand it fully. I'm trying to, but it's very, very confusing to pick out the pieces online.
Yeah.
And forgive me again if I don't remember the names properly. There's some kind of this lawsuit about embezzlement. Some girl named Leslie. Like, is she associated with the town, or?
No, she's just she's a kind of like a business owner that was working for. She was a manager of a jewelry store.
Okay. So not an owner, a manager.
No, she was a manager.
Okay.
The manager, was realizing that the owner wasn't paying attention to the business, because I talked to the owner after this. Leslie told me what had happened. She was fired and taken to court for embezzlement. Okay? So instead of her just going to court and getting over whatever deed that she had done, she opens a business on the same street and competes with her former boss.
Okay. During the embezzlement lawsuit? After.
So she can't just take the fact that she did something wrong, paid her whatever dues, and just move along. She actually opened down the street, kind of just show everyone that, well, she didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
Well, really? No, you did. And the story that she gave me is totally different than the owner, who actually took her to court.
So, did she win or lose?
She lost, of course.
She lost? So they proved that she embezzled?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So what did she do? Instead of going back wherever she came from, St. Catharines, she opened a store right down the street, competed with them.
In
Not
Fort
that
Erie.
she does anything to hurt the other business, but at the same time, like, what goes on in somebody's head that they have to do that?
Well, I guess she took the path of least resistance and did something she kind of knew.
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
But anyway, that's just small town nonsense. I mean, it was.
You know what?
Only 10 grand, but 10 grand is still enough to, to hurt a small business, right?
Wow, 10 grand.
Yeah.
And that was from a jewelry store?
Yeah.
Well, 10 grand is 10 grand, regardless of how big or small the company
I
is.
Get you. It could be a ring, it could be this. I can't remember the exact details. It happened like 10 years ago or something.
Yeah.
But just the fact that that person had that, on her mind to do that. And there's more that happened after that between her and I. She got involved in that blog with Benito, and she said that she was going to be evicted out of her business.
Okay.
And I paid her rent, and then she claimed that I paid for their blog. I said, how did I pay for a blog? You said that you were getting evicted. I helped you, carry on, get caught up with your rent. And then she told me about the embezzlement after. I said, so that's the kind of person I help keep in business? Like,
she told you about it?
Don't ask me for money anymore. Yeah. I
wow.
go, so don't tell me about your past criminal activity. Don't ask me to help you pay your rent. Can you just go away?
Right.
And she claimed that she was going to call the police on me, even though she asked me to come over and talk to her. These people are nuts. And she's this huge supporter of, again, Stephen Searle. Like, what kind of fucking mental cases are around? Like, I just want to see people like yourself come to town, look around on your own.
Yeah.
I'm not taking you around and showing you, oh, you got to have this property, because you think, wait a minute, maybe he knows the guy, or he owns the property, or what. Look,
right.
If you're looking for industrial land, come down. You've already got some background information. Go to town hall to make sure that is zoned, like it shows it's zoned. Because again, every listing at the bottom always says, there's a disclaimer, right? So you got to do your own due diligence.
No, of course, yeah. And this is part of it. I really appreciate the time you're giving me.
Not a problem.
Okay.
Anyways, nice talking to you, sir. I got to get back to getting this place ready.
Okay.
And,
sounds good. Hopefully we talk soon.
Yeah, anytime.
Okay, great.
Okay, take care.
Okay, thanks, Peter. You too.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.